What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Victor. I'm a local real estate agent here in the Metro Atlanta area. And right now we're going to talk about the cost of living in Johns Creek. Starting off, where is Johns Creek? Johns Creek is in Fulton County, similar to Alpharetta or Roswell or Milton. And Johns Creek is a little east of the city of Alpharetta. In fact, Johns Creek has only been a city for about 10 to 15 years. I believe it was in 2008 when Johns Creek established itself as its own city and kind of separated from the city of Alpharetta. And so Johns Creek is very similar to some of those other suburbs like Alpharetta or Roswell. Also, it borders the city of Suwanee, so it's kind of similar to that city as well. Some of the main reasons why people want to live in Johns Creek is that it has that Fulton County feel. It's a very well-kept, beautiful city like Alpharetta or Suwanee or Roswell. And then they also have very good schools in the city of Johns Creek. The feel of Johns Creek is very much like a suburban kind of living. There's lots of neighborhoods all over the city. There's sporadic shopping here and there. Although Johns Creek doesn't have a lot of shopping, it's a little less than some of the other cities. But overall, there's plenty of things to do in the city of Johns Creek. Lots of things to do for families, especially lots of parks and green space in that beautiful city. And so it's certainly one of the most popular cities in all of Metro Atlanta. Some of the main roads that run through Johns Creek are State Bridge Road and Medlock Bridge Road. This is really where a lot of the neighborhoods are. Also, Johns Creek High School is on State Bridge Road. And so this is kind of the center of the city. There's not really a city center or a downtown area in Johns Creek like some of the other suburbs of Metro Atlanta. This intersection just happens to be like the middle of the city or the heart of the city where there's a lot of things, a lot of neighborhoods and a lot of shopping right there in this area. There isn't really a major interstate that runs through the city of Johns Creek like Alpharetta has Highway 400, Marietta has Highway 75, and this allows a lot of the residents to get around the city of Atlanta or Metro Atlanta very easily. Johns Creek doesn't have one of these kinds of major interstates. State Bridge Road, Medlock Bridge Road are really the biggest roads that go through there. So this can cause some congestion, some traffic here and there. It's not really a major factor. Just know that if you need to get into the city of Atlanta very quickly or down to the airport very quickly, Johns Creek will not really offer that kind of accessibility to the rest of Metro Atlanta. The average home value in Johns Creek is about $675,000 to $700,000, and as many of the suburbs around Metro Atlanta have kind of started to dip down in home values, the home values in Johns Creek have not really come down as much as the other suburbs around Metro Atlanta. For example, the average home value in Marietta has come down about 10%, or in Suwanee about 10% as well, whereas the city of Johns Creek has not quite lost about 10% of its home value. It might be closer to about 5%. So this is really a big benefit of living in Johns Creek. It's a very desirable suburb and kind of explains why the home values have not gone down as much there. Also, the average days on market in Johns Creek is about 17 days, which is a little bit less than some of the other suburbs. This kind of implies that there's really a lot of demand for people who want to move to Johns Creek, and even though the housing market is starting to slow down, Johns Creek housing market is still doing very well. Okay, let's talk about some of the neighborhoods in Johns Creek. The first neighborhood we're going to talk about is the Riverwood neighborhood. It's off of Medlock Bridge Road, and the average home in this neighborhood is about 3,500 square feet. Most of the homes in this neighborhood were built in the 1980s, and the average lot size in the Riverwood neighborhood is about 1 acre. The high school district for the Riverwood neighborhood is Johns Creek High School, and the average home value in this neighborhood is between $800,000 and $900,000. This next neighborhood is the Doublegate neighborhood, and it's off of State Bridge Road. The average size of the homes in this neighborhood is between 3,000 and 4,000 square feet. Most of the homes in this neighborhood were built in the early 90s, and the average lot size for the homes in Doublegate are about half an acre to 1 acre. The high school district for this neighborhood is also Johns Creek High School, and the average home value in this neighborhood is between $700,000 and $800,000. And then we have the Oxford Mill subdivision. This one is off of Jones Bridge Road. The average size for the homes in this neighborhood is between 3,000 and 4,000 square feet, unless they have a basement, in which case they would be a little bit more living space. The high school district for this neighborhood is also Johns Creek High School. The average home value in this neighborhood is between 750 and 800,000. Most of the homes in this neighborhood were built in the 1990s, and the average lot size for the homes in Oxford Mill are half an acre to 1 acre. Okay, so let's talk about basements in Metro Atlanta because I don't think we really have talked about that much. I would say about a quarter of the homes, maybe a third of the homes in Metro Atlanta have basements. And the thing about basements is that they're below grade, like they're below ground. So that can sometimes cause problems in some basements, especially if those rooms are not finished the right way. You don't really finish a basement the same way that you do the rest of the home. You have to finish a basement in a way that protects it from the moisture, from the water in the ground. And in Georgia, as we've talked before, the building codes here in Georgia are not really as good as they should be. So sometimes basements in Georgia have problems or tend to have problems. When you're shopping for a home with a basement, it's very important to have a home inspector look at that basement and check for any signs of moisture in the walls or in the flooring, as basements can be susceptible to that kind of water problem. And then out of the homes that do have basements, I would say about a half of them are finished and the other half have unfinished basements. So if you're looking for a home and you're trying to determine the value of the home, obviously a home that has a finished basement is going to be worth more than a home that does not have a finished basement. So that's something certainly to keep in mind when you're home shopping in Georgia. And then the unfinished basements can be kind of helpful. You can see, if there are water problems in the unfinished basement, whereas in the basements that are finished, it can be more difficult to determine whether or not there's water problems there, but it's certainly something that a home inspector needs to check out. Some other costs associated with living in Johns Creek, property taxes are about 1% of the value of the home. So if the home is worth $700,000, you can expect $7,000 to $8,000 per year for property taxes. The cost of gasoline in Johns Creek right now is about $3 a gallon. I think that's about average for the rest of the country, I think. And then I guess homeowners insurance is going to be about the same in Johns Creek as any other part of Metro Atlanta. You'll be looking at about maybe between $2,000 and $6,000 per year for home insurance, depending on the amount of deductible that you have. And then, like many other suburbs around Metro Atlanta, there really is not public transportation in the city of Johns Creek. So you would certainly need a vehicle to get around any part of the city. If you want to know the pros and cons of living in Johns Creek, click on this video. I'll see you there.